Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing. It's precision crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go, 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 go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
So after this station, which one do we go to next?
I think you go 3 doors down on the left. And we
okay.
do the rock and roll show. I brought my my 78s. I got a bunch of 8 tracks. I'm ready to go, man.
Is there a country station in the building? No.
I think that's the other end of the building. You go anyway. You go past the Amazon rally and you keep going.
I was feeling the need to do my drawl. I just was feeling like I needed to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like where you fill your mouth with cotton and you just kind of talk like this.
You're good.
Except
You're
you get
really
down
good.
there. Yeah, you can do a little Johnny Cash. Because you're mine, I toe the line. I know it's walk, but with my wife, it's toe. It's toe the line.
Right to it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Don. That's Tom. I'm Don, back from a long radio hiatus. Having gone to the lovely country down under, no, not Australia, the one next to that, New Zealand.
Yeah, it was a good trip,
by the
right?
way, I saw a real penguin in the wild. Took forever waiting for that damn penguin to come out of the ocean. Apparently, they go out in the ocean and they just stay there.
So how long were you waiting?
It was like over an hour. We're
Really?
standing
How'd
there
you
on
know
the
it was
cold
coming
beach.
back? How you know it didn't swim somewhere else or something?
Well, we know. They said they might come back. They might not.
I see. Okay.
They don't have any chicks this time of year. They've all grown up, and though they go out hunting all winter. It was coming up on winter down there, down under.
Mm-hmm.
And the other cool thing is that when you pull the plug in the tub, the water actually goes down.
Oh, I
backward.
thought that was an urban legend. Really?
Yes,
that really happened.
I went to a hotel after 12 days in an RV, and I was achy because I drove 3,100 kilometers.
That's like 1,800 miles. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's a long way. Yeah.
So I went to the hotel and they had a big tub, big soaking tub with an old-fashioned rubber plug. So I got in this big old tub with the rubber plug. I, soaked for a while, felt better, pulled the plug. And the most entertaining part of the trip for me was watching that little water tornado go backward.
I hope that wasn't in the top 5. I mean, you went like 9-day plane trip, blah, blah, blah.
All right. The dolphins were up there. We saw a pod of dolphins at some sound I can't remember the name of. Mountains were beautiful. Emirates has a cool plane. It's a good trip.
Okay.
It's a good trip. Beautiful country.
You want to talk
Absolutely
about
beautiful
this
country.
particular day and the show and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about it. First, this is a program designed to actually provide you some useful advice on building a better future. And to do that properly, we will share all kinds of things that we run into, but we also want you to tell us what we can help you do by giving us a call at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255.
And just to help, I'll give you a few of the topics that we got in the last couple hours. We got one about a managed account. How much should I be making on it? I've got one about a state worker wanting to know about taking some cash and buying additional credits so you could get a bigger
pension credits and annuity.
Pension credits. We got someone who's 71, still working, getting into the 401k and wondering how to invest for retirement. So we get kind of everything. So we're here to talk about all those things.
Right. And we're also here to talk about some of the problems with our industry.
Oh, my goodness. Anytime you see a headline, I love
the
this
financial
headline.
services industry is rife with really bad deals. Folks, here's one of the problems. The reason Bernie Madoff was so blasted successful is because so many of us want to feel special. We want to believe that if we only knew the right person, that we'd make more money on our investments. And you see that particularly prevalent in sports, where, I mean, you can hardly count the number of sports figures who have been taken in by outright Ponzi schemes.
Well, in this case, it was a well-known media figure.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It was a well-known media figure.
Very well-known. I think he's still on TV every week.
Yeah, George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah. Oh, he's still
and he
there.
was taken in, cut by a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, I mean, and anytime the headline says a private market deal gone bad, sketchy brokers bilked seniors and a cosmetologist. Wow, there's a headline that should get your attention. Wow.
Seniors and a cosmetologist.
Yeah, okay, and
just one cosmetologist.
Yeah, the cosmetologist, by the way, was the person giving investment advice. I mean, I guess you could call it advice.
That's right. I read there. She was selling this unregistered product as an unregistered advisor.
That's right. While
claiming
doing
she didn't need to be registered
hair
while doing your hair
and
folks, I don't know if you know this. I'm going to tell you a little secret about the show. I actually do the show from Florida.
I'll let you say
or as
that.
Tom likes to call it, Florida. And just up the road from us is this gigantic community called The Villages.
It's getting bigger. I mean, aren't they adding on to it or something?
It's gigantic.
Every old person in America goes there or something.
Move to The Villages.
I think they do.
A good friend of mine actually manages
I shouldn't
The
call them
Villages.
old people. Sorry.
He lives in my town, which is 2 hours away, but he manages The Villages. And it is full of older people who drive golf carts and have way too many STDs.
I don't even want to. That doesn't have anything to do with the sketchy broker, the bilked seniors, the cosmetologist.
Apparently they're high flyers. They're rainbow riders. They're straight shooting son of a guns.
You know, this thing it's an awful story because people got taken.
Yeah.
But here's the other part. Here's the part that
they were promised an 8% return with absolute safety.
I was just getting to that. I mean, I hate to. There's an expression: a fool and his money are lucky enough to get together in the first place. I mean, it applies at this case because there is no safe investment that pays you 8% a year.
Or if it sounds too good to be true,
yeah, every single thing. I mean, this is it's shocking. Here's, by the way, the Journal's take on this. That's my take.
The Wall Street Journal?
Pardon me, yes, the Wall Street Journal.
Not the Real Investing Journal.
Which probably should do a piece on this too, because my takeaway was, listen, anytime anybody promises you 8% a year, short term, and there's no risk to your money, run the other direction. But theirs was, this investment was sold by a lot of people that had been thrown out of the industry. These are brokers that had huge
horrible track records.
And their take was, well, the public doesn't know this, which is true, by the way. The public doesn't. You have to do the research because you get taken if you don't.
I am going to help everyone in our audience right now do the research. There's a website called Broker Check. Type in Broker Check to any browser. Give me one of the guys' names there, Tom.
The print is very small here. Hang on.
Give me a name. Throw a name my way.
I love this one. Ray K. But Ray? It's not his real name, they said. They say he used another name before. Ray K. Just RayKay.
Let's see if he comes up.
Probably not. He used to be called Raymond L. Contanzo.
Oh, you're going to have to spell that for me.
K-O-N.
Raymond.
Pardon me. K-O-N-T-R-O-Z-O. Contrazo. Pardon me. Raymond L. Contrazo. I think I got it right.
Oh, wait. Raymond Contreras.
Under that name, he was barred from the securities industry for running a fraud and later fined $5,000 for breaking that ban, getting back in and selling products. One of those names should come up.
Why is
Maybe
he
he's
not
just completely eviscerated now after this?
There's a Raymond James Condren, but not Contrazo.
I think I have it spelled right. Try no N. My bad. This type is just small. Contrazo. God, I tell you.
There you go.
Bring somebody in and help me with the Braille version.
Oh, Raymond. Raymond. Okay. Let me just help you all out at home, okay? If anybody is selling you a security, before you do anything with them, go to Broker Check. BrokerCheck. Just type in BrokerCheck at brokercheck.finra.org. Raymond Lawrence Cadrozo.
Yes, better known as Ray K.
Yeah. Well, Ray, they've these little boxes on the screen that tell you, that they were their years of experience, their disclosure events. Like, here's another Raymond something or other, and it says disclosures, yes, years of experience, 1. He's not registered anymore. Ray's, all of these come up either gray if they're not registered or blue if they're in good standing.
Yeah. Raymond's
box comes up bright red.
Uh-oh.
With a big slash and a circle across it that says barred.
Yeah.
Barred. Do you know how hard it is to be barred from this industry?
Almost impossible. That has not stopped him because all he did was go out and change his name and sadly run a bunch of radio advertisements for a risk-free return of 8% a year, sell a security that wasn't registered, and then had the nerve to stand by and watch his clients lose a big part of it. Well, we don't actually know yet because the company that had the security has gone bankrupt, and nobody really knows if there's any money to be found. It's a sad tale. He has a long track record.
Does he have a long record of being a bad boy? And he's an old guy, too, because he started in the brokerage industry in 1972. Wow.
What is that, like
I was
45
in high school.
years ago? Me too.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's been at this for a while. He had his own firm until he was barred in 1990. But this is how you can do this. You check them out. You go to BrokerCheck, you type in their name, and if they've been barred by the SEC, you probably shouldn't deal with them.
Yeah, but the cosmetologist, I don't think, had been barred. She was just selling the product.
No, she just had never done anything.
Never registered.
Right. Would you have her name?
I don't. Please don't make me read more. I'll try.
See, you're no help.
I know because I can't. Mr. K is 75 years old. It does say in the article.
Good.
Who's not going to trust the kindly old man helping you with your money? That's so easy.
I bet she was never, ever registered. And if they don't come up at all, then they're really not allowed to be selling you any kind of financial products.
By the way, if you invested in Woodbridge, you already know that that's the product we're talking about. They did a lot of radio advertising, I'm told.
Woodbridge was a real estate deal or something?
Yeah, it was a short. They were. Let's see. I'm trying to find her name.
Woodbridge is also a wine by Robert Mondavi,
which probably is a better investment, by the way.
Which I just don't want to confuse the two. Woodbridge, the wine, is still fine. It is fine. You can drink the wine.
All it says is Ms. Oh, here we go. Lynette Robbins, but she's not going to be. She's not registered. She's 72. And she was part of a firm called Knowles Systems that received, I love this, $8.1 million, not in investments, in commissions.
In commissions?
That's kind of a lot of money, yeah.
Wow.
You might want to get registered before you take that much.
Holy cow. Well, I hope she's going to jail. 855-935-TALK is our number. I hope she's going
a security
to jail.
from your cosmetologist. That's your first mistake right there.
Hi, I'm a cosmetologist and a registered investment advisor.
Would you like your hair or your money done first?
Although maybe that's a new business model. We could look into it. 855-935-TALK is our number. Give us a call if you want some help with your dough.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
If you're looking for a nice short podcast to tide you over between episodes of Talking Real Money, check out Money 30. Money 30 podcasts are between 2 and 4 minutes long, and they're available at every major podcast service, including Apple Podcasts, or you can visit money30.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And I did a little more research on this Woodbridge mortgage investment. Now, bear in mind a couple of things. One, this was an investment that could only be sold to qualified investors.
Yeah, accredited investor.
Accredited investor. You have to have over $1 million.
Which apparently George Stephanopoulos does have, or did have.
Apparently. He's accredited. And what they told people was they had a portfolio of very safe first position commercial mortgages. paying up to 8%. Now, think
Loans
about it for a
on
minute.
property, basically.
Yeah. Why would anybody borrow money, short term at 8% with backed
Because they
by,
can't get it somewhere else?
Right. Generally, that's the case. But in this case, a lot of people are going to say, well, what's wrong with this? It's in commercial mortgages. It's very safe. We get the property if they default. Well, here's the reality. They lied.
Yeah. They never had the
just
property.
lied.
They never owned them.
Never had any mortgages.
Ugh.
They were paying new investors, old investors, out of new investors'
And isn't
money.
that called something? It's based on a guy like 100 years ago that ran around and did this.
I think we need to change it to the Madoff scheme because he was bigger than Charles
more money,
Ponzi ever
especially
thought
on
about
a
being.
inflation-adjusted basis. He was bigger.
Anyway,
Ponzi has a nicer ring to it.
it does. It feels good.
Flows off the tongue.
855-935-TALK is our phone number.
Did you
855-935-8255. Now, please, if you are being pitched something that sounds too good to be true, there's a small chance it might be, but maybe you should call someone first, like, I don't know, us?
Did you mention the commission on this?
Oh, yeah.
No,
and the
you didn't
commission
mention
was 8%.
I think buying anything where there's an 8%, just think of the conflict. You're sitting across a table. Put yourself in that seat. You're sitting across a table from somebody, and you're pitching something that, let's just say, for sake of argument, is $200,000. Okay,
That's probably about right,
it's
based
probably
on
about right.
how many people they sold this to. Yeah,
and the person across the table is going to get a check. Well, they're not going to because they got to share that commission with somebody else. But they're probably going to, it's $16,000 commission overall. The broker's probably going to end up with maybe 2/3 of that, I'm guessing, $10,000.
in these cases, it's going to be a large percentage.
I mean, think of the...
Wait, you didn't even have to be a broker. You could be a cosmetologist.
That's a good point. While I'm doing your nails
In this
here,
case, the cosmetologist...
I don't know. I mean, please don't do it anymore.
Yeah, and so far they haven't gone to jail.
Well, and I think they're still battling because they went bankrupt, I believe, was the cause of action.
Both the Woodbridge and the little company that this woman, this cosmetologist, and her buddy started in Florida, Knoll System. They both went bankrupt. Yes,
and of course the guy who runs Woodbridge says this is just a massive misunderstanding. There's no Ponzi scheme here. It's just a misunderstanding.
I meant to go out and get those mortgages. I just forgot.
I got busy. It's like the guy who defrauded Ulysses S. Grant said the same thing, right? He was going to go buy the government contracts, but he got busy and just never got around to it. That's all.
They always have an excuse.
Oh, yeah. So please don't.
That's the key to being a successful criminal. You need a great excuse.
Yeah.
I also wanted to we mentioned this on the other show.
Yeah.
One of the most important things you can do, anything that pays a high return has high risk, and we offered this on the Como show.
Yeah.
If you want to know what kind of risk you can stand from your investments, you really want to get your risk tolerance. You don't know your risk tolerance. I guarantee you. You could
not
say,
until the market goes down.
Yeah,
not until it goes down.
Because it's easy to say it.
Yeah.
But there's a terrific risk quiz that we have purchased and have made available to you for free.
No obligation.
At Vestory.com. Free, no obligation. You don't even have to give us a phone number, so we can't call you. It's at Vestory.com, and it's called our Risk Quiz, RISQUIZ.
Upper right-hand corner. V is in Victory, E is in Edward, and then Story.
Yeah, one of the nice things about Tom and my efforts here is we really do try to, above everything else, provide you with the education you need to make smart decisions on your own. You don't necessarily need an advisor. Most people do, because most people make dumb decisions.
Or they get upset, or they get too excited, or whatever. I mean, their behavior can be problematic.
As I talked about in the feature, there's that investor gap.
Yeah, well.
Where the difference between what investors what the portfolios make and what investors end up making based on their bad behavior. And in the next feature, I'm actually going to give you some numbers. That's coming up at a quarter till.
That's going to talk about the missile gap?
No, this is the investor gap.
The credibility gap?
The investor gap.
Oh, okay. All right. The Gap, the clothing store?
No, the gap. No, I'm talking about the General Agreement on Accounting Principles.
Oh yeah, GAAP. Yes,
Yeah,
we spent a lot of time on the show about that, of course.
Oh, accounting. That's my favorite topic.
At least you knew what that was. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I've been around the block.
All right, okay. A couple of times.
Look at me.
I wasn't going to go there.
Did
you give the phone number?
Worn face. I gave the phone number.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255.
The show's supposed to be about you in the audience, not about us. We can make it about us if you want, but it's not supposed to be.
It's a little of both.
No, okay. All right.
No, it really is actually a little of both, I think.
So I can't talk about the return gap because you're going to do a feature on that? Because I was going to follow up with your
Yeah, no, you can't because it's coming up in the next feature.
Okay.
But you could talk about it after that. So we've teased that segment of the show.
Yeah.
And and you know, one of the other things that really bothers us about the investment industry, we talked about that big 8% commission on this silly it would have been a great concept if it was real, but it wasn't real, and there are no mortgages that pay that much and are that kind of quality. But the other thing that is a real bother in the investment industry, not just commissions, but all of these hidden incentives. I remember when back before I got religion, when I was a broker back with Dean Witter, remember the Sears Financial Network?
Who could forget?
If we would sell a certain amount of a particular Dean Witter mutual fund, and these were the original liar load funds, they were the funds that we could do this. We'd go, oh yeah, our funds have no load. Now, did you see my mouth move and say front?
Just do that again. Do that again.
No load.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of swallowed the word front. Mm-hmm. They had no front end load, but they had a back end load and an ongoing extra fee. It's sales load in drag, as Christopher Cox of the SEC called it. If we sold X amount of these things, we would get stuff.
Like what? What did you get?
We would get prizes. I remember once I got a table saw. I don't know why.
Are you a great carpenter that I'm unaware of?
No. That table saw got used about 6 times.
Right. Okay.
There were like dinner gift certificates.
Didn't you get trips or something somewhere if you did really well?
If you were at the highest levels, you would get Caribbean trips and that kind of thing. Yeah. And I never got to that level.
Well, but you got the table saw. I mean, that's a big deal, Don. Congratulations on that.
But the problem with these kind of incentives is they encourage financial advice providers to do things that are not in the client's best interest, but are in the seller's best interest.
Well, I mean, in this case, if isn't $10,000 in your pocket in one quick sale enough?
Exactly.
How much more incentive do you need?
Apparently more.
And people will, as Paul Merriman would say, crawl across cracked glass for a lot less.
People like to win. It's built into us. We like to win things. It's a great incentive. Look at Retire Meet. People hung around to get those gift cards.
I know. Well, and actually, one of the folks who spoke, Fairway Mortgage, gave away some incredible stuff at the end.
Yeah, makes you wonder how much they're making on those mortgages, though.
Probably doing okay
when they give away that nice bottle of Crown Royal or that.
Did you win that? I couldn't remember who won the Crown Royal.
I win nothing.
I know. And by the way, we didn't really get a chance because we get more time here. Thank all those of you who came out to Retire Meet in Everett last Saturday. It was a great event. I had a lot of fun. I always enjoy those because we get to talk to you.
Yeah.
And people come up, hey, what about this? And I like the show, or I don't like Don, but I like you. I just really enjoy it.
You love that part.
I just live for that.
Did people really
Nobody said that.
Really?
They
really
said,
insecure.
Is Australia far enough? Isn't there like
New Zealand,
Antarctica down below, further away or something? I don't know.
New Zealand.
I know. Well, I lump them all together.
I do have a consumer tip for you.
Yeah.
Though. I learned this in Australia.
Uh-huh.
My flights were supposed to be connecting on the same day initially.
That's right.
From Christchurch to Sydney to L.A. to Orlando. It turned out that Virgin Australia canceled all their flights from Christchurch to Sydney, and they're going to have to run me through Brisbane, and it turned out to be like just a mess. So I booked a seat on Emirates, who like kicked me up to business class. Thank you, Emirates.
No
Boy,
kidding.
was that nice.
Woo.
But anyway, so I had to fly in the night before my flight to L.A., and so I booked an inexpensive hotel near the airport, one of these little traveler hotels with teeny tiny rooms. But I knew that. I knew that going in. I just wanted a bed. But the only way to get there, they said, was by their shuttle. Well, it wasn't their shuttle. I booked the shuttle. I shouldn't have booked the shuttle. I wasn't thinking. It was supposedly by their shuttle. So I paid the $14 round trip for the shuttle per person, $28, and had the most horrific experience.
What happened? What happened?
He miscounted the number of people who were waiting for the van.
Oh, no.
So he crammed it full, and then he dropped 2 people off, and then he goes, I'm going to go back and pick up those other people. And I went, no, my hotel is next. I'm tired. Take me there. He goes, no, I told those other people I'd pick them up. I said, you're the idiot who miscounted. We're not going clear back to the airport. Take us to our hotel.
Don McDonald, the consumer man. I love it.
I was mad.
Ooh.
So anyway, I called the company. It occurred to me as I'm riding in the van, I went online to my Uber app. I should have thought of this before.
Bang, bang.
Uber was $12.
Yeah. And
for 2,
you wouldn't have been in there with a lot of other people, nor waiting.
And I would have gotten there faster. I would have paid less.
Yeah.
I would have had a better experience.
Kind of like using index funds. Paid less, made more.
I paid less, and
stress.
would have been happier.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
Thank you.
855-935-TALK is our phone number. Give us a call.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Keeping the podcast breaks as painless as possible is my goal. That's why I want to very quickly tell you about the only magazine I've ever heard of that is 100% real investing all the time. There's no business news, no speculative advice, and certainly no lifestyle stuff. It's called Real Investing Journal. I publish it every quarter, and you can get 2 full years for only $25 at realinvestingjournal.com. That's realinvestingjournal.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Our number again is 855-935-TALK.
That's me.
855-935-8255.
You get a little inside baseball there. Okay.
Yeah, that was Tom calling me to set up the FaceTime so that we can actually see each other because we're at opposite ends of the country.
Yeah.
We're at opposite ends of the country. The reason, 855-935-TALK is our number, by the way. Give us a call. The reason I was talking about incentives was because not only does the U.S. have problems with this, but other markets in the world have problems with it. And in Australia, there's a big banking company, and I saw them when I was down there all over the place, ANZ, Australia New Zealand Bank. And they have decided, and in large part because the government is investigating them and others, they've decided that they're going to change the way their financial advisors are compensated. And it's an interesting new way to do it. They're not going to have sales-based payments. They are going to pay them based on customer satisfaction rankings.
So the customer's going to say it was a good experience.
They're doing a great job,
okay.
right?
All right.
That they have to follow the bank's values and risk and compliance.
Hey, let's do this with our advisors.
And if they fail 2 audits of their behavior, their behavior both with clients and following the rules, they're terminated. Period. Boop.
Let's do this with our advisors and just tell them they all got bad reviews. How are they to know?
Then we wouldn't have any advisors.
Oh, okay. That doesn't work well. You got 800 clients or whatever we have.
Some of them are probably listening right now. they're not feeling really secure anymore.
Not a lot of love from Vestry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys,
I was kidding.
All of you listening, yeah, Tom, Tom just says things. You have to work with him every day. He just
You're
says
fortunate
stuff.
enough to be 3,500 miles away.
I'm in Florida. I don't have to listen to it except once in a while on FaceTime, and then I can just go,
bye, click.
Terrible connection. Click, goodbye.
All right, we won't do that. I mean, but that is one, as you point out, one of the biggest problems in our business is
the incentives.
Yeah, the conflict. If you in some of this they were going to clean up. I don't even know where all this is, and I'm in the business. The fiduciary rule, law, whatever you want to call it, right?
I know where it is.
The Department of Labor said at one point.
That's in limbo.
Okay, where all retirement accounts were going to have to be treated as, live up to the fiduciary standard. In other words,
right.
You're being the client.
Providing advice
correct.
on a retirement investment account would have to act in the client's best interest.
Okay, thank you.
Or they would have to get a best interest exception letter from them saying, I understand that they're not doing what's best for me and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, right. I'm going to get sold something and I know it.
That law went to court.
Well, it was in effect for about 45 minutes, I think, one afternoon. You had to
It went to court. One court rule because they basically said that it wasn't in the Labor Department's purview to institute a rule like that. The Trump administration doesn't like it anyway because if it's in the client's best interest, it's obviously bad. Seriously,
I'm gonna let you say that.
No, I mean, look, it's like whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Regulate. Why should we regulate?
That just causes a lot of problems.
Let everybody kill each other in the arena, and we'll see who's left standing, and that'll be the real man or woman.
Okay, but so where is it today? I honestly don't know. I've lost track.
It is in limbo. Today it is kind of on hold. The Securities and Exchange Commission, though, is currently accepting comments on its version of the fiduciary rule that would apply to all investment advisors.
Which makes sense.
But
I mean, it should be the SEC.
Weaker version.
Yeah, but the SEC are the ones should be doing this anyway.
I agree,
at the end of the day,
it's a weaker version.
How is it weaker?
I don't know the particulars. I have to look it up.
Okay. Because honestly, I mean, when you really sit down and talk to people about this,
they don't know the difference.
Well, every person I've ever talked to is shocked. When you really say, do you realize that person over there does not have to put your interest first? And they go, well, what do you mean? They do not have a requirement to do what's best for you. Do you understand that? When you go to a doctor, they have that requirement. When you go to an attorney, they have that requirement. They do not have that in this business.
As a matter of fact, there was a study, and I want to see if I can find
Well, we got
it.
calls, so should we go ahead and go to them?
Oh, yeah. It was this great study on real quickly, it was just, the study said that the vast majority of investors believed their advisor was required to act in their best interests.
Yep.
And it turns out that 99% of advisors are not always required to act in your best
Always.
interest.
That's the key word.
99%.
Because everybody now, by the way, holds themselves out as a fiduciary. Because it's a marketing term now. That's all it's become.
Ask them if they're always required to act as a fiduciary. That's the key word. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255.
We're going to go to Joe? Let's go to Joe. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Great. How about you guys?
Oh, we're having a ball. Good day for indoor work.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Hey, I work for a large aerospace company in the Seattle area.
Yeah, we've heard of a few.
And
Go ahead.
They have a 401k plan.
Mm-hmm.
And in there they have stable fund.
Yeah, stable value fund.
Right. And they also have the bond index fund.
Correct.
And I've been noticing that the bond index fund, the performance has been negative over the last several months. Is there why wouldn't I just invest in the stable value fund, at least now, knowing that the rates are going to
that's a great question.
Continue to go up?
Okay, well, number one, we don't know the rates are going to continue. Because we have to be careful saying here's what tomorrow looks like because we don't know. But those are two different types of funds. The stable value fund owns insurance products that are designed to pay you a guaranteed amount. Now,
guaranteed investment contracts.
Called a GIC. I'm not saying that this could happen. I'm not saying it will happen. It could happen where there's a problem with that insurance product and they can't pay it. That has not happened with the Boeing Stable Value Fund. But that's a completely different product than the Boeing Bond Index Fund, which is an intermediate term bond fund. Has it had trouble the last 4 or 5 months? Yes, because intermediate bonds are down over 2% in that period of time. You should not be looking at short-term performance. You should build a portfolio. The bond part should be the stable part. And when we build it, and I think it's up at 401-411.com, 401-411.com. If you go to specific plans and click on Boeing, and I think that's where you work because I know the plan and I know the stable value fund. We show you that you divide the money between the stable value fund and the bond index fund, because over time that bond index fund will give you greater protection against inflation over time, not every short period of time, because there are periods like we've had where rates have gone up and that has pushed prices down. But I would still be using some in the stable value fund and some in the Boeing bond index fund. Don?
I agree. And one of the things you need to bear in mind about these GICs, because they are, and one of the big problems I have with the insurance industry is that they're even allowed to use the word guaranteed, because they're only guaranteed by the assets of the insurance company. There really is very little else behind it. So it's not a true guarantee, and to say it's an absolute like the federal government is spurious. We believe that diversification is it's always good for you. Yeah. It's always good for you because you cover all the bases. GICs could default. Some GICs, maybe not all, but some could. We had a couple of insurance companies in 2008.
Rather large one in 2008 that almost went under.
AIG.
Yeah, kind of
right.
big.
And had they gone under, a lot of their guaranteed investment contracts would have been upside down. So
by the way, when we divide it up, I think we have about 2/3 of the part for bonds is in the bond index fund. About 1/3 is in the stable value fund. So you divide it up that way.
You get a little of both. And I really do like that idea. I'm with Tom. I think that's the best way to do it. Because remember, that bond market index fund is over time going to have higher yielding bonds in the portfolio as they buy them at higher rates. So I'd split them up.
Does that help, Joe?
Sure does. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. The Boeing plan, by the way, is a very good plan. The match is a very good plan. They don't have some of the assets in there that we'd love to see. They don't really have much value. They got a little bit international.
They don't have emerging markets.
Yeah, but the plan is really a good one. Financial Engines is a very fine company that gives advice on that plan. Yeah. So and the match is crazy great.
Costs are very low.
People still leave. I think I have this right, more than $100 million every year is left on the table from people that don't save up to the match in the Boeing plan. And then they complain they don't have, I'm not picking on people, and they say we don't have a pension.
That's okay.
You're giving up free money there.
You're not picking on anybody by name.
Okay, but I mean, I'm picking on you
if
you're not
looking
doing
out there
that.
and go, hey, Steve, you're not.
And it shocks me that you don't at least save up to the match to get the free money. You're going to bend over to pick up $3 if you, and that's a no-brainer.
Maybe their bills are so high they can't afford it.
I get that. No, I understand, but pre-tax, the change in your take-home check is fairly minimal. So,
good point. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. 855-935-8255. Give us a call. We want to help you make better investment decisions, and remember, the key to making these decisions is academic evidence.
This isn't we didn't come up with this,
evidence.
What you're saying.
I'm saying that we're not just making this up. You're not going to get a whole lot of feelings out of us. I mean, in the right circumstances, we're full of feelings. But when it comes to money, it's not about feelings. As a matter of fact, I love this piece. There's a piece in Market Watch, one of my least favorite online financial publications, and I read it religiously because it's such a goofy thing.
I think Paul Merriman's work is still there regularly.
I know.
Yep.
They had an article recently about interviewing Dan Loeb, who's a hedge fund manager. And
you sent me that piece. Great.
The headline of the article was alternative to equities.
Yeah, you got to get out of stocks.
I'm looking through the article. I'm
never found it.
Where's the alternative? Well, I did find it. You know what he said the alternative to equities was?
What was it?
Intermediate term bonds.
What?
Well, you're getting
that is an alternative.
You're getting 2.5% safe.
Okay.
Why expose yourself to the stock market?
And you've lost over 2% so far this year.
Right. So it's not safe. The other thing that he fails to completely mention is the fact that inflation has been about, close to 2.5%?
It's running a little over 2, 2.3,
So basically you're making zero money, so it's a terrible alternative to equities. What it boils down to is his opinion, and he even says it, I just feel like the market is overvalued. You won't get feelings like that stupid feeling. He may be right, he may be wrong, but it's a feeling. It means nothing out of us. You just won't. 855-935-TALK is our number. Stay tuned. In this feature, this is where you get the numbers on the gap, the value gap, the investor gap.
Real money.
If you're sick of investing through an insurance agent or a stockbroker and you're in the market for a fee-only advisor who charges truly low fees and uses a scientific approach to building portfolios for your risk tolerance and need, you should check out Vestory. Tom and I started this firm, and it is devoted to educating everyone, total transparency, clarity, low fees, and great service. If you're looking for an advisor, you ought to at least take a look at us at Vestory.com. That's Vestory.com. Or give us a call, 800-386-3004.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Because it's really, really important. And as mentioned in the feature, if you want to actually see the chart of that investor gap between those three funds, those three global funds, go to talkingrealmoney.com.
Yeah.
And they're there.
Oh, they're there. Okay.
Do I put them there, or do I put them at money30.com?
I'm betting it's
put them on one or
Money30.
the other. It may be at Money30.
Yeah.
It must be at money30.com. Check it out at money30.com.
This is the difference between how much mutual funds make and how much the people that actually own the mutual funds make. Yeah, which is a big deal.
Kind of like the difference between what pension funds should be making and what they're really making in Seattle.
I mean, this is you want
Seattle.
Great enterprise piece in the Seattle Times. This is really a good piece of journalism, because they go back and look at the people that ran the Seattle pension plan. I hate to pick on people, kind of. The first guy who did it was a CPA with no investment experience.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, that was the person running the plan.
I know.
Really?
I know. And then the guy running the plan said, "I know I didn't do well, but if somebody
what would I have
knows
done differently?"
What you want to tell me what I should have done differently? Buy an index fund?
I mean, here's the problem.
Make twice as much?
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem. Now they had counted on, and I think this might be a little high for people to count on, especially in a 10-year period. They counted on making 7.5% a year.
And they only had an index fund, they would have.
I know, but they only made 4.1%. That means the Seattle City Employees Retirement System is $1 billion short. $1 billion. That money has to come from somewhere, because when people start retiring, and they are, you got to start meeting those obligations.
Well, but Tom, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, because, if you invest in really safe securities like government bonds and maybe a few corporate bonds, all you're going to make is 4.1%. If you're playing it conservatively,
thank you. Because
I can't pitch it any softer than that.
No, I know. Go read the article, because you can see what they bought. They did not buy index funds. They did not buy
they got into
boring, low expense
Caribbean
things.
hedge funds.
Yeah, all kinds of exotic things.
Partnerships.
They sent somebody to London to research something. Excuse me? I mean, really? So,
do you know, I do a lot of research on investments every day, and I never leave my office. Never.
And by the way, so it's the worst return, 10 years, 97% of other large state and local pensions did better. So you're in the bottom 3%. I always hope to avoid that, because that
they were trying to beat the market.
Yeah, they were.
And not only were they trying to beat the market, but here's the deal with most of these endowment and pension fund managers. They get into all of these stupid, complicated investments
illiquid,
to justify their existence.
Right, because if they just woke up and said,
their big paycheck,
just own 10 Vanguard index funds, or just own, with dimensional funds, you don't even need to own 10. You can own about 6 now, and you own the Globe. They'd be out of work. Because there's a similar article about the Harvard.
No, they'd have to put in part-time work to do the paperwork.
There's a similar article about the Harvard endowment, where they spent on 11 investment managers $242 million with an M dollars over a 4-year period to manage the endowment. That is huge. It's $37 billion. I get it. It's a lot of money. But they underperform the indexes by 2% per year. 2% per year is a huge number. If you can make 2% more a year for a long period of time, that is an incredible difference in how much you end up with. They should be ashamed of themselves. The people that run the Seattle Employees Plan, they should be ashamed of themselves. This is an outrage, and it's going to cost people a lot of money.
And what shocks me is that apparently no one at the Seattle City Council is up in arms demanding. And by the way, they should read your response in the Seattle Times. The entire city of Seattle should be demanding, or at least all of the employees, that their pension plan fire everybody on the investment committee and just go get either Vanguard or DFA funds and build a diversified portfolio and let it ride and quit trying to game the system and make more money when it's apparent that you can't do it.
You don't think the Timberlands in Wisconsin are going to pay more, or the Caribbean Hedge Fund, or the venture capital group in the Bay Area is going to pick Facebook instead of some other nameless company that didn't work out? No, they're not.
They might, right, but there are
true.
Also some casinos in the Washington State area that are hungry for players, for high rollers.
Here's another thing.
Maybe they should assign a portion of the portfolio to Muckleshoot Casino.
Here's your homework assignment, honestly.
Or Cave of the Winds, or whatever that one's called.
You listening, you should go read this piece in the Seattle Times, because you want to know about this industry. This is a lot of what happens in this industry. It really does.
The bad stuff that happens in this industry.
I mean, the fact that there's a lot of feather nesting. This is investment people paying other investment people paying other investment people. This is outrageous. Number two, it's this aspect that you talked about on Como, where people feel like they need to be special. I don't want to own index funds because that's boring. That's not special. I want to be in the VC fund that got into XYZ company before it went public. You don't need to do that. They don't need to do that, and it's costing all of us a lot of money.
I need to be in the 8% per year, no risk real estate fund.
At some point, this money has to be found, right? Because you got to pay, you got to meet the obligations, or you end up like Detroit or Oklahoma or other places where they just say, or Illinois, where we can't meet the pension obligations. How would you like to be getting the check every month and find out not going to get the check next month? That is discomforting.
I'm back at the pitcher's mound again.
Yeah.
With my slow pitch softball game.
Here we go. Hey.
Here we go. You ready? So, if investors shouldn't be doing it this way, if they shouldn't be chasing hot returns, and how do they learn how to become a real investor, Tom?
Oh, that's okay. I was wondering where we're headed. Yes.
I tried to make it as easy as possible
I
for
think
you.
it's about a month from now. We're going to be doing a lunch ed, which is really fun because it's a very intimate group. It includes lunch. You get a 1-hour education on building portfolios for retirement, kind of how things really work based on academic research. We do it in Bellevue at our office. No, the door doesn't lock behind you. You walk right out afterwards with an education. The lunch is pretty decent. And
you mean we stopped doing the EST thing?
Yeah.
We stopped locking them in for the duration?
This is Wednesday, June 13th at noon in Bellevue, and you can buy a ticket now. I think we only have, 10 seats or something. It's pretty small, right?
No, we have 16 seats. It's our new education center.
16,
it's bigger.
Pardon me. Okay, but get them because they go quick. It includes lunch, and how much is it?
$10.
Oh, $10. I mean, come on, that's cheap.
That's the price of lunch.
There you go.
That's why we charge $10.
Okay,
it's the price of lunch. We don't do free lunches.
Yeah, that's true. So you get a lunch, you get an education. It takes about an hour, and we're right at the foot of the Evergreen Point Bridge in Bellevue. And you go to TalkingRealMoney.com. TalkingRealMoney.com. You'll see is it on the homepage? I can't pull up the homepage because my computer is gone.
I can pull it up, and
okay.
It is. Let me just see where it is at TalkingRealMoney.com. It should be under Learn, or it's down at the bottom. Yes, it's down at the bottom of the main page.
Okay, homepage.
The Science of Retirement Investing, Bellevue, at the Vestry Education Center. Order tickets. There's the button. It even has, when you order the tickets, it even gives you your menu for lunch, so you can make your lunch selections.
Yeah.
And then we will send the lovely Ricky or Roxy out to pick up the food.
Sounds good.
Right?
That's
from Panera.
Wednesday. Yeah, it's nice. Wednesday, June 13th. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Do it. Learn. Right. You don't need a hedge
Learn a lot.
fund. You don't need venture capital. You certainly don't need the wild timberlands of upper Wisconsin, which...
And we'll show you
Good Lord.
how you can do this on your own. That's the thing. You know, one of the nice things about this little firm that Tom and I started 9 years ago.
Oh,
this summer,
okay, yeah. It's just about 9 now.
9 years. One of the things that we emphasize when we started this firm is that we will always put education ahead of selling. We are not an aggressive sales driven organization. Have we ever cold called anyone? No, we've never cold called anyone. And yet it's funny how this works out. I have this theory about business. And I think it's really held true for a long time. For example, remember when Sears, Roebuck and Company had the slogan "Satisfaction Guaranteed" or "Your money back." Period.
Yeah, right.
Exclamation point.
That's right.
During that period of Sears' existence, who was the number one retailer in the world?
I'll
Sears,
go with
Roebuck and
Sears.
Company.
Okay, yeah, all right.
It was only after they dropped that, but people did abuse it. People do that.
People always do. And people abuse the fact that we give away a lot of free stuff. Okay,
right.
Fine, go ahead.
They're always going to do it. But the reality and this is the reality of, and this is a lesson for anybody in business, that if you consistently treat people, even those who you know will never be your clients, if you treat them consistently well, business will follow.
Yeah, that's true. I believe
You
it.
will get
karma
business.
marketing.
It's karma marketing. 855-935-TALK is the number. You can always call that and leave a message, and we'll answer those on podcasts. And you can call us every Saturday too and ask those questions on the show. Thanks for being a part of the program. Remember to go to TalkingRealMoney.com to check out our events.
Tom and Don are talking real money. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.